Hi, welcome to the Big Spring Clean. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at clothes. So we're here at the clothes cupboard and I'm going to show you an example of a cupboard, in this case, which has got a bit out of control, so that I can illustrate some of the things that I notice when I'm going through my own cupboard and other people's cupboards as well. And the kind of story that I can see when I open the cupboard. And then I'm going to give you 3 questions. So it's not tips today, it's 3 questions to ask yourself when you're decluttering your clothes cupboard. Okay, so let's have a look in here. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty disorganized looking cupboard. It's pretty packed as well. So what does this cupboard tell me as a professional organizer? Someone who looks at different, goes into different homes, looks at different people's possessions. What does this cupboard tell me? Well, the first thing is I can see there's some organization there. So we've got clothes that are ironed. We've got piles and stacks. I can see that over here we seem to have tops. And further down I can identify we've got like dresses and coats. So in that sense, there is a sense of organization. So this tells me that the person's probably really quite a busy person. So not someone that spends a whole lot of time at home. And if they are, it's probably working. And so they clearly organize their clothes, iron them, prepare them, but then there's so many items that they're just stacking. One thing that this signals to me as well, due to volume, is that they're probably mainly using the items on the top. So there's going to be items at the back of the cupboard that are most likely forgotten now. And that's when the spring clean is really important, because that's when you get inside and you find out what you've forgotten about. You find out some of the things that you actually might really want to wear. You're like, wow, I've just found a brand new jumper. I bought it a year ago, but I haven't worn it, so it's brand new. So yeah, it's always a useful job to do. Now, when I'm looking further down, I can see here, for example, we've got jumpers balanced. Okay, so we've got a few jumpers balanced on here. Now, what that tells me is we've either got a lot of jumpers or we haven't got enough space. So we're going to have to make some sacrifices. In this case, I can see a few jumpers in there, but I think it's going to be more going through the whole cupboard. And our commitment, so let's make a commitment to ourselves. Once I've gone through this cupboard, we don't want anything else balancing on this rail here. That should be absolutely clear for clothes. And also for access, so you can take things out. Whereas if you've got things balanced inside, you haven't got the access. I can also see we've got coats hung on here. That's quite ingenious in a way, why waste space? But practicality wise, when you come to trying to take your items, you're going to have to unbalance or unhook all of these other items, move them over, then you have access to your clothes, and then you're going to have to rehook those items. If this is something that I observe from this cupboard. So that's an extra process. Not only are we having to gain access, but we're also having to return things afterwards. So in reality, we're making more spring cleaning for ourselves, but we're also making more tidying time for ourselves. And we're probably missing half of the stuff we own that we'd quite enjoy using if we realised we had it. Okay, so this is my example of a really packed cupboard and some of the things that I come across. I can see here we've got some socks. This is a box of socks. So what I actually recommend is if you have a drawer where you keep, your socks and underwear, you can buy these little dividers. So I have them myself. They're like these boxes with different dividers, and then you can neatly place in, there's my socks, there's my underwear, there's my little tops, whatever it is that you're putting in there. I just think that's quite a nice way to keep everything together but have organisation. But maybe they're not ready to use these ones yet. We've got a stray box here, stray box of shoes. So it's just thinking about, does this item belong in here? If it doesn't, where should it go? Is there enough space? Maybe I need to reassess what I've got. So I want to leave you with 3 questions now. Okay, so the first question is, can I take this item and walk outside now and wear it? So could I take this jacket, put it on and walk outside and be quite comfortable? Could I select a dress and put it on and off I go? Or if the answer to that question is no, why not? Now, I'm not talking about winter clothes versus summer clothes. I'm talking about if there's an item which you are aspiring to wear again at some point, then maybe it's time to let it go. Because by the time you come to wearing it again, if you ever do, our tastes change, our moods change. You know, with age, we gain experience, and the fabrics that we enjoy, the cuts, the lengths, all of these things change over time. So moving forward is always the best thing with clothes, I think. Apart from staple classics. So if you have got like a classic nautical top, if you've got classic jeans, absolutely fine. Because you know, through, you know, you may be mixing it with different stuff, like different items over time. So I might have been wearing a t-shirt and tight jeans before. Now I'm wearing a shirt. You know, with age, I've changed my style. And I think we all do. So yeah, I think the first question is, can I walk out the door? The second question is, if it's a no, then why am I hanging on to it? Is it sentimental? Or, as I said before, is it, sorry, an aspiration to return to something you had before? So we need to think about that, because that's taking up space and that's taking up energy, moving things around to accommodate it. And then the final thing I want to say is, if there's any items you haven't tried on for a while, have a go, try it on, see how it feels. Ask yourself, how does this feel? Does this feel the same it did 5 years ago when I bought it? Does this feel the same now that I'm, you know, I mean, for example, I'm quite a good example. So I spent all of my time working in the gallery world and the art world. So I was always dressed up. I was, you know, I wore shoes to work. I wore jewelry and dresses. Now, as a lifestyle and fitness instructor, I mix up what I do. Because as a fitness instructor, I'm not going to go into a class, or I'm not going to meet a client and have jewelry on and then getting hot and running around. And so actually my style has maybe expanded, maybe changed slightly as well, due to the fact that some of the activities that I now do require completely different clothes. And while in lifestyle, I can still wear the clothes I wore in the gallery and also when I'm doing art projects, but I'm certainly not going to wear them in the gym. So I need space for the things that I am going to wear, the things I am going to need, and then we'll see what's left afterwards. Okay, well, I know this is a tough one, but it's also a really rewarding one. And one thing I say, I've got a blog coming out this weekend actually about the big spring clean. So do have a read. But one of the things I do say is that if you're aspiring to wear items of clothing that you haven't worn for a long time, say it's, for example, they make you feel a bit out of shape, the real answer is to forget about those clothes. If you do end up losing a few pounds, you're absolutely going to want to go out and celebrate that and buy new things. You're not going to want to jump into your jeans from 10 years ago. And why would you? So, okay, anyway, good luck. And The next video is going to be all about the collection. So the next 2 videos are going to be about the collections, collectors, how they look after their archive, how they might want to handle some of the objects when we're cleaning. And when I say archive, I'm collection. So do join me, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.